the road from Agdam to Khankindi currently is being blocked by a small minority of Armenians. That I don't think, frankly, represent all of Armenians, that do not want Azerbaijani supplies to go into Armenian community in Karabakh and refuse to recognize the realities on the ground de facto following the decisive and overwhelming Azerbaijani military victory, which no one contends otherwise, after the 44-day war.
What we see today, those small amount of Armenians from Khankindi who decided to block Agdam-Khankindi road, has it become direct evidence of the absence of the so-called humanitarian crisis in Khankindi? What about Armenia is trying to speak for a big audience in the world?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the media bias here, is that when you see Western media outlets trying to speak to sources in Khankindi, in the Armenian area of Karabakh that's not under Azerbaijani government rule, is that I think they're speaking with activists who have, frankly, a political bias of their own. From speaking to people on the ground and from my reporting over the years in the South Caucasus, at the end of the day, normalization and a final peace agreement between Azerbaijan and Armenia, which would include Turkey and opening the Turkish-Armenian borders, will ultimately be to the benefit of all communities: Azerbaijanis, Armenians, Christians, Muslims, the Jewish community. But there is a small, frankly, element that does not want to see that happen in this landlocked, completely surrounded part of Karabakh that is under an Armenian political administration that claims independence that nobody in the world recognizes. And it's really, frankly, very lazy of many of my colleagues in the Western media that just don't realize just how these claims for independence, and just that in this one small town, frankly, has no viability whatsoever. And the Armenian government in Yerevan itself has said that they recognize the Azerbaijani sovereignty over this area. Now, however, that being said, without a final signature on a final peace deal that includes a resolution of the total Azerbaijani sovereignty over this area, frankly, based on my analysis, I think we are headed towards very dangerous times ahead in this critical part of the world.